look forward to seeing you next time on The Chase Australia.
Tonight, a nursing home in lockdown, residents exposed to the virus, more infection problems in hospitals, the Premier hints at extending restrictions. Pfizer shots to be doubled, new vaccination hubs to open in the city and at Macquarie Fields, but there's breaking news with an infection at Sydney's main centre. Weaving through the traffic, near misses at high speed, head on along the M1 between Sydney and Gosford. A stunning development as Bill Cosby walks free on a legal technicality. Sydney's defect-riddled building boom, unit blocks cracked, leaking, residents banned from moving in. Happy financial new year, dozens of price rises, tax changes and toll increases. Princes William and Harry back together again to mark their mother's 60th birthday. And Nathan Cleary explains his big risk to go for a Panthers premiership.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. More hospital wards are in isolation and a nursing home is in lockdown tonight after 3 health workers caught COVID-19. This is a live look at Summit Care in Baulkham Hills, where a worker has tested positive. The good news, almost all residents have been fully vaccinated. Today, 24 new cases were reported as daily numbers slowly climb. The concern, half of those infected were active in the community, defying stay-at-home orders. The Premier insisting that must change or this lockdown could stretch beyond 2 weeks.
16 days since this outbreak began, the scenario they prayed they'd avoid.
It's not somewhere we want to be, clearly, but it was always possible. And we always thought it may be a staff member that would bring it in.
A healthcare worker testing positive at the Summit Care nursing home, Baulkham Hills. Their vaccination status?
At this point, it's my understanding she wasn't.
The facility now locked down, residents confined to rooms, tests every 48 hours. The good news, of 149 residents, 135 are fully vaccinated, double shots of Pfizer. But memories of Newmarch, Dorothy Henderson Lodge and Victoria have authorities on edge.
We're undertaking further investigations to understand the direction of transmission.
It's confirmed as linked to yesterday's case, the 24-year-old trainee nurse working both Royal North Shore and Fairfield hospitals.
Testing of her family and household contacts has identified further cases.
A housemate and a friend both testing positive, with one a fellow nurse from the same hospitals who also worked at Royal Ryde Rehab.
Extensive contact tracing has occurred around that nurse.
So, a total of 3 hospitals linked to Summit Care Baulkham Hills. Growing questions now on why the nurse and aged care worker were both unvaccinated.
And of course it wasn't made mandatory until very recently. So it's been challenging.
Today, with 2 COVID cases already in ICU, a 30-year-old COVID-positive woman was also rushed to hospital. She's pregnant.
Complaining of fatigue, general pain and shortness of breath, persistent cough.
A total now of 195 cases as numbers climb by another 24 overnight. With serious concerns, half of them, 12, weren't following health advice, staying out in the community while suffering symptoms and infectious.
A number of those cases were people who were conducting work in the last few days, some with symptoms, and we can't continue to have that happen.
The Premier hinting the behaviour could delay the end of lockdown.
And that's what we'll be looking at in the next few days and beyond.
But Sydney has again been turning out in massive numbers to join the testing queues. It was almost 60,000 yesterday, here Maroubra today. A new pop-up walk-in testing clinic is also now operating in central Auburn.
Go get tested because I think it's necessary, right?
With serious concerns for shoppers there.
Positive cases moving about that centre.
As another shopping centre joined the list, Pacific Square Maroubra. While professional cleaners moved in on the Marconi Club, the existing clusters continue to grow. Fears too over transmission from the flight attendant on Saturday's Virgin VA 524, the Gold Coast to Sydney.
2 passengers have now tested positive on that flight.
And even the Olympic Park Vaccination Centre has been impacted. A positive case visited there on Tuesday, as the airport driver believed to be patient 0 was now out of quarantine and back behind the wheel today.
Now, the driver who reportedly was unvaccinated and unmasked when he was driving the hotel quarantine run escaped penalty when it was discovered it wasn't actually an offence to not wear a mask, a loophole that has now been closed. But he told waiting media he now feels, Mark, on top of the world.
And Chris, police have been enforcing mask rules even in their own ranks.
No fear, no favour, Mark. A superintendent who was issued a penalty notice yesterday after walking into a fast food outlet in Mount Colah without a mask on. Someone made a complaint, an investigation was launched and the 53-year-old was given a $200 fine. Now, this comes after the Nationals leader and Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce was fined for doing the same thing at a petrol station. In total, 65 fines were issued yesterday and 52 of them, Mark, were for not wearing a mask.
Hopefully the message is getting through. Chris, thank you. As an all-out political brawl rages over the AstraZeneca vaccine, the Therapeutic Goods Administration has revealed 5 new cases of blood clots, including a death. The co-chairman of the Commonwealth's Vaccination Board says Australians aged under 40 should not have that vaccine unless absolutely necessary.
Jousting over the jab, but agreeing on one thing.
We just follow the health advice. Take your advice from your GP. The ATAGI advice has not changed. The medical advice has not changed.
That advice from the federal government's expert health panel interpreted by ministers as supporting AstraZeneca for under 40s and by premiers as doing the opposite. But today, the definitive interpretation from ATAGI itself.
I do not believe at this stage that young people should be receiving AstraZeneca.
The only exception in cases where there's a pressing need, but
they are quite small.
And perhaps about to get smaller, with the Therapeutic Goods Administration reporting another 2 definite and 3 possible cases of blood clots associated with AstraZeneca, all aged over 50, one woman dead after flying to the UK, but she had serious existing illnesses. Emboldened, but angry.
Please, can I just stop all this? This is getting absolutely silly.
Doubling down, warning under 40s shouldn't get AstraZeneca.
I am giving my advice. I'm a doctor.
In New South Wales.
The advice I've given is very much consistent with the ATAGI advice.
And WA.
Under 60s should have Pfizer.
Scott Morrison re-emerges from his own 2-week quarantine tonight for another National Cabinet meeting tomorrow, hoping he and the premiers can clear up some of the mixed messages. Views among under 40s about AstraZeneca are equally mixed.
I don't really mind. It's a matter of speed, really.
I'd be happy to get vaccinated if one's available.
I'm just happy to wait like everybody else, I think, until there's some Pfizer vaccines.
That wait's likely to be until October. The Finance Minister says Pfizer's favouring countries in the grips of big outbreaks with high death rates.
Which has put countries like New Zealand and Australia at the back of the queue.
Victims of our own success. Mark Riley, 7 News.
2 more vaccination hubs are being set up in Western Sydney and Wollongong, as well as a large clinic in the city to try to speed up Sydney's vaccine rollout. From Monday, GPs will be able to start giving out Pfizer jabs, but warn supplies will be extremely limited.
From vacant supermarket to vaccine super hub. Within weeks, this former Coles at Macquarie Fields will be the centre for southwest Sydney, where hundreds of thousands of people will be able to get their COVID jab. Part of a major expansion hoped to double the doses delivered each week.
We know that we'll be able to get capacity up to 200,000 once these max vaccination centres come online.
Another for the Illawarra will be in this former David Jones in central Wollongong. A Sydney CBD clinic is planned near the corner of King Street and Pitt Street Mall, putting it close to light rail and city train stations. Set to open in late July, as is the Hunters Hub inside a former Bunnings at Lake Macquarie. Here at Olympic Park, they're on track for another record week of vaccinations, with more than 7,500 given just yesterday. And from next week, some GP clinics will also be delivering shots of Pfizer. The doses already defrosting at select clinics. Here at West Ryde, they'll start on Wednesday, now fielding hundreds of calls.
Unfortunately, we're only getting 120 doses to start with. Demand far outweighs the supply.
The first 140 GP clinics in New South Wales will begin administering Pfizer jabs from Monday for anyone over 40. New South Wales received an extra 50,000 Pfizer shots last week. That should reach 200,000 doses a week by the end of the month. By October, supply should reach 770,000 doses. But doctors say they need more precise information to plan.
What we really want from government is a clear time frame of when are we expecting doses, how many and where are they going.
And Paul Caddick is at Olympic Park for us tonight. Paul, has Tuesday's positive case there deterred many from lining up for the jab?
Good evening, Mark. Well, there's no sign of that here. As you can probably see behind me, there are still plenty of people joining the queue for their booked appointments here at Olympic Park tonight. Now, we understand at this stage the alert has gone out to people who, thanks to signing in, health knows could have been in the vicinity of this positive case. It is a reminder that these COVID cases can pop up anywhere, which is one of the reasons why so many people are here to get vaccinated tonight. But a reminder of that alert again, it is for anyone who is at the Olympic Park Vaccination Centre or the nearby P3 car park on Tuesday afternoon between 3:30 and 5 p.m. Please monitor for any symptoms, and if they start to develop, please get tested immediately. Mark.
OK, Paul, thank you. Customer Service Minister Victor Dominello is back in COVID isolation tonight after being cleared by mistake and speaking at a news conference. Health officials have apologised, but critics say it was disgraceful special treatment.
Minister Victor Dominello holed up in his Meadowbank apartment once again.
I was surprised.
Forced back into isolation soon after a media conference with the Premier yesterday, New South Wales Health admitting he should never have been allowed out.
And I regret this, but as I said, everyone was doing the best with their best intent.
A contact tracer wrongly reclassified the minister as a casual, not close contact of infected colleague Adam Marshall. No questions asked.
I just don't have the time or the bandwidth. To be honest, that's not my job. That's contact tracer's job.
That decision based solely on a private meeting between the ministers. Overlooking this vision from question time last week, every minister alongside Mr Marshall is in isolation and everyone in front, including 3 independents, but Minister Dominello wasn't.
I'm not going to stand aside and pretend that these inconsistencies are acceptable.
The Premier denying she intervened.
You had no contact at all with Victor Dominello?
No. While Minister Dominello did not personally ask to have his status reviewed, the Chief Health Officer revealed several other MPs did contact her about their individual cases after she gave them her personal phone number.
What about all the people locked up? Can't go anywhere, doing the right thing. The government's got to lead by example, and this, quite frankly, has been a disgrace.
Health insists Minister Dominello posed no threat, having tested negative again.
Health made a mistake. I don't have any hard feelings. I only have admiration for health.
Alex Hart, 7 News.
Around the country, there's an anxious wait tonight as other cities hold out hope their lockdowns will soon lift. As Sydney nears the halfway mark of a 2-week shutdown, Brisbane, Perth and Darwin could be free much sooner.
Queensland Police at its finest. No mask. Everybody else has a mask.
Feeling the heat at the bakery.
Can I police? No, 1.5 metres, please, pal.
An officer caught maskless and called out.
If I didn't have a mask, you'd say something to me, wouldn't you?
As Queensland Police warn a crackdown is coming, masks mandatory outside for residents in lockdown zones, even on the beach.
If we can't get compliance on our beaches, we'll have no alternative but to start putting some barricades and things up.
After a 9-hour wait for testing in Townsville yesterday, today some relief.
Probably an hour and a half.
Testing too in Adelaide, but for now in South Australia, it's all quiet on the COVID front. There are just 2 new community cases in Queensland, 1 in the Northern Territory, in WA 0 on the 3rd day of lockdown.
We don't know how long or how extensive the lockdown will be.
On a virus-free day for Victoria, Premier Daniel Andrews stepped up his push to cut the number of overseas arrivals.
We need to see a very significant reduction.
Those trying to get back into Victoria on the New South Wales border are also on notice. 17 warnings issued yesterday as police everywhere enforce the rules. This Lismore lady fined for not wearing a mask but not going quietly.
This is not a requirement under the public health order.
Tough rules for all set to stay until there are no more infections. Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
Shocked drivers have been forced to avoid a high-speed head-on after an SUV suddenly did a U-turn and came racing towards them on the M1 north of Sydney. It was all caught on dashcam, with police warning the driver to expect a visit.
On her way to work driving south on the M1, Charmaine Conyers had the shock of her life. The green car in front suddenly swerving to miss an oncoming SUV going the wrong way.
Bloody hell.
That's insane.
Oh. That's crazy.
Charmaine said, "We're all very lucky the green Commodore acted quickly and others on the road doing the right thing. It was right where Sydney-bound traffic goes from a 90-kilometre limit to 110. The SUV had been heading south on the motorway when the driver apparently missed the Mooney turn-off. We're told the driver then did a U-turn, incredibly heading back up the motorway as cars approached at great speed, narrowly avoiding a head-on collision. Another car only seconds away in the same lane."
Wow, that's pretty scary stuff.
Charmaine has told 7 News she kept watching that driver in her rear-view mirror as the driver kept going up the M1 the wrong way before doing another U-turn and taking the Mooney exit. Police have the dashcam vision and hope to speak with the driver. Evan Batten, 7 News.
Bill Cosby is about to wake up at home in Philadelphia a free man after an appeal court sensationally overturned his sexual assault conviction. It ruled prosecutors violated a deal made with the former star, a legal victory that has left his accusers horrified.
Sealing his freedom with a V for victory, Bill Cosby's first fragile steps on the outside. Frail and unsteady, the 83-year-old propped up by lawyers fronting the cameras and supporters.
Love you, Mr. Cosby!
But leaving questions to the team that secured his shock early release.
Mr. Cosby, how does it feel to be home? He is extremely happy to be home. He looks forward to reuniting with his wife.
His record wiped clean, all sexual assault convictions thrown out. Cosby later telling a radio station,
"This is for all the people who have been imprisoned wrongfully."
But the decision that saw Cosby freed after just 2 years of a maximum 10-year sentence made no claims to his innocence. Instead, it was a legal technicality. The court ruling it had identified a due process violation. A prosecutor vowed Cosby wouldn't face criminal charges if he gave evidence in a civil case. That promise later broken.
We always thought that eventually this is where it would end up.
Not so. His accusers, dozens, publicly claimed Cosby had sexually assaulted them at the peak of his fame and power.
She's sitting there blaming me.
But in 2018, it was Andrea Constan's allegations she was drugged and molested by Cosby that were upheld in court. Her fear now, this legal backflip will discourage those who seek justice for sexual assault in the criminal justice system from reporting. And she's not alone.
I'm outraged. I'm infuriated.
It's a slap in the face. It's an insult.
Still, this decision won't be appealed. Cosby can't be retried on his original charges, meaning America's dad is now back at home for good. In the United States, David Woywood, 7 News.
As forecast, Sydney saw another foggy morning thanks to ongoing high humidity and low overnight temperatures. It seemed even thicker than yesterday, but the Bureau says that should be the last of it.
In Sydney, deja vu without the view. For a second morning, heavy fog submerged the city, spreading out to the suburbs as far north as the Hunter.
Amazing how you can only see 20 metres ahead of you, if that.
Famous landmarks, the bridge and Opera House, lost in a game of hide and seek.
I'm looking for Sydney. I can't find it anywhere, just across the road. It used to be around there somewhere, wasn't it?
Hiding under the blanket of fog, a city in lockdown. Residents emerging from under the doona to take advantage of some outdoor exercise. A change of scenery for this Sydney Dance Company member.
Something you don't see every day.
We miss the view, but it's nice. There's no one else out here.
The fog set in early, reducing visibility on the road. All ferry services suspended. It saw this crash at Rhodes in the inner west. 4 16-year-old boys questioned by police. The mist began to lift around 7:30, only to return half an hour later, even more dense.
To have 2 in a row where it's not very good visibility is quite noteworthy.
Yesterday's showers, high humidity and the cool temperatures overnight have all contributed to this city-wide whiteout. But it's unlikely we'll see this again tomorrow. Instead, the Bureau says we're more likely to have some morning rain. Miley Hogan, 7 News.
And for more weather details, Angie is here. Angie, once that fog cleared, it was a more settled day.
Was, Mark, most metro suburbs recorded a rain-free day, only a millimetre or less across suburbs like Baulkham Hills, Marylands, Fairfield and Lucas Heights. But this is how the day panned out for most of us. After the fog, it was fine, although cloudy, with very few glimpses of blue sky in between. The focus of the wet weather, though, has shifted away from Sydney for now. Overnight, 50 millimetres fell in the northeast corner since 9 a.m. Two main noteworthy pockets, about 31 millimetres around Coonamble and 20 millimetres across the suburbs of Canberra, with more to come, especially in that northeast corner. In the wake of the cold front and trough moving through, we're about to see much cooler temperatures. The chill due to peak over the weekend with snow across the Southern Alps. Your full weekend forecast coming up soon, Mark.
OK, Angie, thank you. Two brand new high-rise towers are at the centre of a new housing crisis. After the break, brand new apartments with serious defects. Tenants told they can't move in. A catastrophic crash, but a lucky escape on a busy Sydney road. Freedom denied, the latest blow for Britney Spears as her father maintains control. Virus hotspots, how to receive COVID alerts for your suburb, that's later. And 2 tons of illegal fireworks the moment a police bust goes very wrong.
Sunday, could you imagine yourself living here or here? How about with him?
Love for me it's everything.
Or him.
I do believe someone out there who wants the same things as me in life. I just got to find her.
These girls all have the same dream, to fall in love in one of the most magical places on earth. New Farmer Wants a Wife starts Sunday at 7 on 7.
Golden, never a boring bite.
Beacon Stocktake sale is on now with reduced prices on all stock at all Beacon lighting stores across Australia and online. Don't let these savings get away. Sale ends next Sunday.
Lights, camera action when I step into the limelight. Easily adapted to the highlight. That's good food and drinks. My mood makes you think that this life's made for a king. So many different things to do within the high life.
When frequent heartburn kept waking me up at night, enough was enough. So I tried Nexium 24-hour.
Unlike antacids that often require multiple doses per day, Nexium 24-hour is better. Just 1 tablet a day can provide 24-hour protection. Live life less interrupted.
Terry Shear, Australia's leading landlord insurance specialist, provides the cover you need for your property and rental income.
My property portfolio is protected by Terry Shear. I wouldn't trust anyone else.
Call Terry Shear or go online.
If you're struggling to balance work, life and family, you need to shake it up. Ensure Health Shakes help you get the nutrition you need to help your body build strength from within, with a prebiotic and antioxidants to support a healthy immune system, calcium and protein for muscle and bone health. Put more balance in your work-life balance. Shake it up with Ensure.
Red Rock Deli, there's always something new to discover. Feed your curiosity.
It's Toy Mania time again. Australia's favourite toy sale is here. Big smiles, big brands and bigger savings. Lay by now for Christmas, online and in-store. Big W. Every day's a big day.
Welcome back. A truck driver has escaped serious injury after slamming into a pole on the Princes Highway at Kogarah Bay. The moment of impact was caught on camera. The crash brought down power lines, disrupting traffic for 4 hours while repairs were carried out. Serious defects have been discovered in a 22-storey residential complex under construction in Parramatta, with orders now preventing owners and tenants from moving in. It came on the day new laws were introduced to protect owners from shonky developers.
The Building Commissioner on the lookout for construction defects, only this morning finding these in a brand new Sydney unit block. It's refused permission to open until resolved.
If you're more than 6'2", you're going to struggle here. But if you're the structural engineer, what are you doing here?
A prohibition order also placed on this Parramatta residential complex, the Imperial, with 22-storey twin towers, structural issues in the basement, inadequate waterproofing, fire safety shortfalls.
I don't think there's a catastrophic situation on the horizon, but frankly, a brand new building should not start its life with the issues that this building has.
A building that boasted of flawless design and superior craftsmanship. Apartments have sold off the plan for up to $900,000. None can be occupied now. The developer has promised to act.
Of course they're going to fix any defects.
After a string of Sydney buildings exposed as substandard, applying from today new rules cracking down on how they're designed.
To ensure that high-rise residential, the great Australian dream, does not turn into a nightmare.
The government says to restore buyer confidence in what is already a soft market for units battered by COVID, oversupply and concerns about building quality.
We're not going to be happy with this in the future.
Chris Marr, 7 News.
Feuding Princes William and Harry will come face to face in the coming hours as they honour their mother, Princess Diana, on what would have been her 60th birthday. Europe Bureau Chief Hugh Whitfeld is at Kensington Palace for us. Hugh, a statue of Diana will be unveiled there.
Mark, it's been 4 years in the making, this date hard to avoid, but it does come at an uncomfortable time for the two dukes. Prince Harry has served his self-isolation here in the UK. He's surprised some children in London attending a charity awards ceremony ahead of a scaled-down event here at his childhood home. The statue will be unveiled in the palace's sunken garden, one of Diana's favourite places. The garden has been given a makeover with 4,000 flowers planted, including 100 forget-me-nots, the late princess's favourite flower. The brothers are expected to be joined by Diana's siblings ahead of a private meeting so they can thrash out whatever it is that's driven them apart. Mark.
Hugh Whitfeld in London, thank you. Britney Spears will stay under the guardianship of her father despite her explosive pleas to a judge. The star appealed to the court to remove her dad Jamie as a co-conservator, alleging she's being exploited and bullied. But a judge ruled she remains substantially unable to manage financial resources or resist undue influence. The next hearing in a fortnight, where Britney Spears could submit a formal application to terminate her father's legal oversight of her life. A giant haul of illegal fireworks has exploded in a bomb disposal truck in LA. Police were trying to detonate the stash, as much as 2,000 kilograms worth, deemed too unstable to move when it all went up. 17 people were injured and there's damage to cars and buildings nearby. Former US Defence Secretary Donald Rumsfeld has died at the age of 88. Serving under President Gerald Ford and again under George W. Bush, Rumsfeld was known as the architect of the Iraq War, with a leading role in making the case to invade in 2003. He died of cancer, surrounded by family. For many Australians, fears of a financial wipeout during COVID have proven to be completely wrong. Up next, from shares to super, how much your retirement savings have surged. Mystery driver, the hunt for this blue car after a deadly collision with a bus. A tale of two heartaches, one woman's dash to see her dying dad as another misses out, stuck in quarantine.
And a rare glimpse of Ivan Cleary's pride in son Nathan, who's opened up on the gamble he's taking on his injured shoulder.
It's that moment of anticipation.
Take your mark.
Suddenly, all the volume goes up, and then I exhale. It's been a wild journey. Swimming's the first great love of my life.
Huge moment for the sisters. What a swim! What a performance! And a world record! As good as we've ever seen!
The Olympic Games in Tokyo.
Take your marks, Australia.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt excellence by the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
For over 200 years, we've been delivering to your letterbox.
G'day.
Well, now we're delivering new, great value home and car insurance. Australia Post.
Now at Harvey Norman, stay on top of your game with the Acer Nitro 5 gaming laptop, 15.6-inch Full HD screen and powerful 10th Gen Intel Core i5 processor and NVIDIA 3060 graphics. Now just $1,298, save $500. Handle all your tasks on the go with this power-packed, sleek and compact HP Pavilion laptop with Intel Core i7 processor. Now $1,198. These deals and more on now at Harvey Norman, your technology specialist.
Flaming sausage on the loose. Luckily, when accidents happen, Amy can help cover it. Who helps cover the challenges of the everyday arena? Amy does.
You're with Amy.
Maybe we could find ways to call time out on our kids' busy routines before they get sick. But if they do, Children's Panadol can start to reduce fever in just 15 minutes. Together, let's rethink care.
Join Bupa and get cover for less than you think before life happens. Plus, get 6 weeks free on eligible products. Search Bupa 6 weeks free. Quick, before life strikes.
From the moment I laid eyes on you, this is what I said, I see it, and I like it, and I want it, yes I do.
NRMA members save this weekend at Repco with up to 25% off almost everything store-wide this Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Exclusive to NRMA members. Repco. It starts with the parts.
Welcome back. There's been a sinister development in the investigation into a deadly head-on collision between an SUV and a bus at West Ryde. Serena Andalora has the details. Serena, new evidence indicates the SUV may have been forced into the path of the oncoming bus.
Mark, police have released CCTV from just across the road, which appears to show that car pushing the car into the path of that oncoming bus here on Victoria Road. Now, it happened yesterday morning. As we know, tragically, that driver, she is just 25 years old. The bus driver, he suffered minor injuries. He was taken to hospital. And there was thankfully nobody else on board that bus. But if you do recognise that blue sedan, contact Crime Stoppers, Mark.
OK, Serena, thank you. A man armed with a wooden plank has been arrested in the city after allegedly threatening a bus driver. As seen here, the 39-year-old dropped the piece of timber before being taken into custody. But police allege he assaulted an officer as he was taken down. He's also facing stalking charges and not wearing a face mask on public transport. COVID aside, it's been a fantastic financial year for anyone owning property or investments, and that includes superannuation accounts. Sydney property is up almost 20%, and super has had its second best year since records began, boosting retirement savings for almost everyone.
When the first wave of COVID-19 hit our shores, many feared their housing and retirement wealth would be washed out. But with the financial year now wrapped up, those fears have proven wide of the mark. Both Sydney and Hobart notched up annual house price growth of more than 19%, Brisbane and Adelaide around 15%, Perth 10%, and Melbourne just under 9%.
We've seen a very swift economic recovery, a tighter labour force.
But a slowdown is underway.
We're coming up against affordability constraints, so already we're seeing a bit of the heat coming out of the housing market.
Last year, shares on the ASX 200 rose 24%, helping the median balance super fund to return 17.5%, growth fund 21.5%, and capital stable fund 7.3%, underpinning the best year since 1997.
If we look back 12 months earlier with the huge amount of volatility and uncertainty, what a strong result we've seen.
Record low interest rates have also fueled the housing and share market boom. While the Reserve Bank says it still doesn't plan to hike rates before 2024, some economists now forecast rate rises to begin as soon as next year.
Over the long term, super's designed to deliver probably 5-6% per annum. It's been delivering about 8% per annum, so always be cautious.
Gemma Acton, 7 News.
China's president has used the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party to send a warning to the world, cheered on by tens of thousands in Tiananmen Square. Xi Jinping said a wall of steel would confront any country that tried to bully Beijing. The 68-year-old says China won't be preached to by foreign influence and claims growing his military forces are a clear priority. A woman who returned to Australia from New York to see her dying father has had her wish granted today. Dad and daughter reunited after a hotel quarantine delay. But a second woman's story couldn't be more different. The end devastating.
The tale of two heartaches. One woman allowed to see her dying dad, another denied an exemption.
I'm just devastated. I'm devastated.
Gillian Hanna has spent 11 agonising days in a Sydney hotel.
At this stage, it doesn't look hopeful.
Desperately trying to get to her father as he lost his battle with melanoma in a Melbourne hospital. He died this afternoon.
I said what I needed to say, and that's the last moments I get with him.
Her story remarkably similar to that of Anna Coffey, both vaccinated, both from the US, both in the same Sydney hotel. But today Anna did get the chance to see her dad and say goodbye.
Finding out that they gave the same exemption to someone else, just, it breaks my heart.
New South Wales Health says it tries to show compassion in all cases, but is simply being overwhelmed by all of these requests, given so many people from other states are quarantining here in Sydney. Those who've been through the ordeal are now calling for a consistent national approach to end-of-life cases.
So helpful to everybody who's going through this type of tragedy if these things were just more clearly defined from the government.
Amelia Brace, 7 News.
Increased road tolls and a shift in super that could see you taking home less pay. Just ahead, the July 1 changes set to hit your hip pocket. Highways in the sky, is this the flying car of the future? Tracking the COVID spread with your phone, the latest exposure sites and how to receive alerts.
Soon in sport, Eels coach Brad Arthur says their clash with the Panthers is not an Origin audition for Mitchell Moses.
And another partly cloudy day tomorrow ahead of some chilly temperatures over the weekend. Details soon.
Know the headlines as they break. Know the stories as they happen. With 7news.com.au, know the news now.
I've done something so stupid. I slept with Sienna. You have to tell Bella. I wish I didn't have to tell her the one thing that would tear us apart. Bella, something happened.
Home and Away, next up on 7.
My wife and I wanted to escape the city and move to a coastal location.
Because Bryn was only driving a short distance to work, he tried Yui. When your life changes, your insurance should too. Yui. You insured.
Oh, it's a little small. See that cloudy eye and droopy fins? Probably not. But John West does, making this one a definite no. It's what John West rejects that makes John West the best.
Get your Woolies worth this winter with great weekly specials, like Woolworths beef thick sausages 760 grams from the meat department, now $3.50 each. That's half price.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Luca! Where have you been?
Disney and Pixar's Luca is endlessly rewatchable and joyously fun.
It's just the greatest thing that humans ever made.
Disney and Pixar's Luca, now streaming on Disney+.
Discover better buys for the school holidays at Target with 20% off toys and crafts from these big brands, including Lego, Barbie, Fisher-Price and more. Offer ends July 14. Conditions and exclusions apply. Find more better buys in-store and online.
Fancy Feast Petite Cuisine. Delightfully smaller portions, delicate and delicious. Perfect when their appetites aren't quite as big as their personalities. Fancy Feast Petite Cuisine.
Subscribe today to the Daily Telegraph and save for months. Enjoy full digital access plus 7-day newspaper home delivery for just $1 a day for the first 6 months. Search Daily Telegraph offer now.
At Terry White Chemmart, get real deals on your favourite brands like Oral-B Sensitivity and Gum Toothpaste, Cetaphil Daily Advanced Ultra Hydrating Lotion, and Sukin Foaming Facial Cleanser. Shop in store or online. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart.
It goes lights, camera, action when I step into the limelight. Easily adapted to the highlight. That's good food and drinks. My mood makes you think that this life's made for a king. So many different things to do within the high life.
Welcome back. Time now for a check on the markets with Gemma.
Thanks, Mark. The first day of the new financial year got off to a sombre start for the ASX 200, which dropped 47 points to close at 7,266. The losses were broad-based, with all major banks and supermarkets among those falling. And you might notice a new addition to our board. From tonight, we'll be tracking Bitcoin, which has been in a downwards trend since April after sharp rises in the 6 months before. Iron ore has slipped a little, while gold is in fact steadying. And in another sign of labour market strength, the total job vacancies across the public and private sectors soared by more than 180% in the year to May. Mark.
Thank you, Gemma. A lot like Back to the Future, inventors in Slovakia are taking to the skies in a flying car. Their prototype has just completed a successful flight. Called the Air Car, it can transform from a road vehicle to an aircraft in under 3 minutes. But it needs a few more safety checks before it's made commercially available. There's fresh hope for those suffering chronic bowel disease. A new treatment from Pfizer called Xeljanz will soon be added to the PBS. The drug helps manage the symptoms caused by inflammatory bowel disease. More than 87,000 Australians currently live with the illness. Today marks the start of a new financial year, and with it a host of changes that will affect the family budget, from tolls and taxes to superannuation. Michael Usher explains.
They're the changes that can either boost or burden your budget. And from today, a new round of toll rises kick in. You'll be paying more on our motorways like WestConnex, NorthConnex, the Eastern Distributor and Hills M2. Public transport fares, they're also up 1.5%. That's from Monday. Changes to Medicare rebates mean extra out-of-pocket costs for some surgery fees. On the plus side, personal tax cuts are extended, affecting more than 10 million low and middle income earners. That's potentially worth more than $1,000 for individuals. The tax rate for eligible small and medium-sized businesses, it drops to 25%. Today also marked big changes to the superannuation guarantee, up from 9.5% to 10% of wages, in some cases meaning less take-home pay. And that will continue to increase until it reaches 12% in 2025. Mark.
Thank you, Michael. Australians have experienced kindness during extremely tough times recently, fires, floods and a pandemic. Now we're being reminded to show that care every day as we mark the beginning of Kind July. The initiative was set up by the Kelly family, who lost both their sons, Thomas and Stuart, in the month of July. As Sydney's COVID outbreak spreads, there's now a way to track the risk and danger. Still to come, real-time virus alerts sent to your phone, the latest hotspots and exposure warnings as they happen. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is here with the day's sport, and Mel, no Nathan Cleary, apparently no worries.
Apparently, Fergo, the Panthers say they have just the man to step up and fill the big hole his injury has left. We'll hear from both Nathan and Ivan Cleary next. Plus, mixed news ahead of the Knights-Cowboys clash as the North Queensland side receive their COVID results. And high drama for Nick Kyrgios at Wimbledon, and why Venus Williams says the Aussie is her dream partner.
I'm your new intern.
I'm glad you also see the humour in this.
Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway in The Intern, tonight on 7.
The
way I see it, you've got two options in life. Settle for what you're given or speak up for what you deserve. Kids movies. Foxtel voice control. What will you ask for?
The Nick Scarley half-yearly clearance has been extended. Hurry to save on quality furniture for your entire home. The Nick Scarley half-yearly clearance, extended and must end Sunday.
Bells, it's been ages and this power feels good.
It's reamped energy, mate. Independent, no lock-in contracts.
But the best bit are their prices.
So you're saying, if you pay too much for power, you're a goose. If you pay too much for power, you're a goose. Come on, guys.
If you pay too much for power.
If you pay too much for power. Oh, if anyone's a goose, it's you guys.
If you pay too much for power, you're a goose.
To see what you could save, check out reampedenergy.com.au.
So fun. You got me high, moving
along. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Flaming sausage on the loose. Luckily, when accidents happen, Amy can help cover it. Who helps cover the challenges of the everyday arena? Amy does.
You're with Amy.
Here, you can't go wrong with the Legos.
Oh, thanks so much.
Don't forget the basilico.
That's perfect.
And the parmigiano.
You're amazing.
Ciao, I'm going out.
Thanks, Nonna.
At Terry White Chemmart, we're here to help this winter. That's why pharmacists like Bridget are trained to administer flu vaccinations right here in store. Book now. Walk-ins also available. Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care.
He's one of Australia's most infamous serial killers.
Dubbed the Nightcaller.
Even more twisted, his final confession. 2 more murders for which others had been convicted.
Such a crime spree is unprecedented.
Crime Investigation Australia, most infamous, Sunday on 7.
This Sport Report brought to you by KFC. Kickback, KFC delivers.
Welcome back. Runaway Dally M leader Nathan Cleary will gamble on intense rehab on his busted shoulder to play again this season. Today, Cleary explained his decision to risk delaying surgery in a bid for a Panthers premiership.
What every Panthers fan wanted to hear.
I'm hoping to be back, for that run to the finals.
His club coach rarely deals the father-son card, but playing 70 minutes of Origin 2 with a dislocated shoulder.
As is my son as well, I'm extremely proud of that performance.
Besides, Ivan's betting on Nathan having mum's genes.
I got shoulders like a brown snake, mate. I think he must get the stronger shoulders from his mother's side. Most of the good stuff comes from his mother's side.
While gambling on a lengthy shoulder rehab, Cleary reckons the new halves pairing of Jerome Luai and Matt Burton is a sure thing.
I'm sure they'll show that this Friday night in a tough game against the Eels.
Just don't call that game an Origin rehearsal for Eels halfback Mitchell Moses.
For me, it's not an audition for Mitchell on Friday night. He's playing for the Parramatta Eels and he's got a job to do for us, and it doesn't change.
And a bizarre season-ending toe injury to Nick Cottridge has compounded a week where 5 Bulldogs have been fined for COVID breaches.
So we've got a big job to do there with Tom to certainly limit the damage that he does. He's a handful.
Good luck. Andrew McKinlay, 7 News.
Saturday's Knights Cowboys clash is on after North Queensland players and staff passed COVID tests, but coach Todd Payton stays in 14 days isolation. The Broncos have released prop Matt Lodge to join the Warriors, effective immediately. Justin Langer has promised to soften his approach to coaching Australia's cricketers. They'd complained about his intense style in an external team review. Langer addressed it before they arrived in the West Indies.
we're all behind him 100%. The way that he's coached Australia in the last couple of years since he's taken over has been fantastic.
They're starting in St Lucia for 5 T20s. Nick Kyrgios is back in his element, holding court on Wimbledon's grass and in the interview room. But his 5-set first-round win was followed by an Olympic curveball.
Even the staunchest traditionalists of the All England club missed Nick Kyrgios.
Yesterday, the crowd was thanking me. They're like, thank you, Nick, for keeping me so entertained.
Resuming against world number 25, Hugo Humbert. Kyrgios slipped and hurt his hip. Court one went silent. Almost. Young Nick might have quit. New Nick got up.
Got back up and showed some resilience, come with age.
9-7 in the fifth, 4 days after landing in London, 5 months without a match.
I don't really care what anyone says, I'm my own person.
A few hours later, the Atlanta Open claimed Kyrgios had committed to playing there instead of the Olympics. Tennis Australia and the AOC have heard nothing about it. Kyrgios will play mixed doubles with Venus Williams, the 41-year-old who's out of the singles.
Let's not get this twisted. There was an interview that Venus took and she got asked, who was your dream doubles partner be? And she said, Nick Kyrgios.
The lush grass is causing trouble for everyone. Novak Djokovic survived and after years of hip surgeries and near retirements, centre court's rocking for the great Scot Andy Murray again. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
We think there might be a few proud tears from league legend Steve Blocker wrote tonight. His son AJ was named for his 3rd Olympic Games today and spoke about his parents in a moving piece to unveil the Aussie Sharks water polo squad.
They've done absolutely everything they can for me in life, and I hope if I have kids one day that I can be as important to them as they are to me.
335 Russian athletes won't compete under their flag due to doping sanctions, but they are heading to Tokyo with the blessings of Vladimir Putin and the Orthodox Church. There's a relief. The Phoenix Suns are into their first NBA finals since 1993. Chris Paul had 41 points to torch the LA Clippers 130-103 in Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals. They are waiting for Milwaukee or Atlanta, who are 2-2 in the East. Things getting very serious. And what about AJ Roach? Obviously, Mum and Dad doing something very right there.
Wasn't that fantastic?
Beautiful.
Yeah, very powerful.
Yep.
Thanks, Mel. A map showing the locations of all COVID exposure sites throughout the country can now be accessed online. The website gives a detailed breakdown of each spot and the exact times when a COVID carrier was there.
COVID danger zones, like shops, restaurants, bars and public transport. Areas we need to steer clear of from first exposure until the all clear.
When we have outbreaks happening, I think this information is important for everybody.
Keeping up with exactly where and when COVID outbreaks happen near you or interstate can be nigh impossible. Now Australian researchers have the solution. A new contact tracing tool, easily accessible maps highlighting current COVID exposure sites on your phone, PC, laptop.
Sourced from hospitals, health departments, and it brings all of that data together into one place.
These are the places that infected people have been to.
Called CRISPR, the map is interactive. You can zoom into hotspots, even specific addresses and venues, to see data and warnings on outbreaks as they happen. You can also receive alerts about your area, like during the bushfires.
It is also potentially useful for people like doctors, like GPs, to see what's happening around their clinic.
The map is updated every hour, showing locations of the latest infections. It's available from today on the web. Helen Wellings, 7 News.
Now a quick look at what's on Sunrise tomorrow.
Thanks, Fergo. When you wake up, the hidden fees on cashless payments.
What you're really being charged for when you tap. See you in the morning, Sydney.
Now Angie's back with a forecast. Ange, that's about it for the showers.
Mark, more settled conditions for the week ahead with a lot more sunshine in store, especially on Sunday. Details next.
Hello, tonight on the latest from 7 News, new details on that COVID alert at Sydney's vaccine super hub and another at an aged care home. We're tracking every outbreak development tonight. Tensions to come to a head, your full preview of tomorrow's National Cabinet, and we'll go live to London as Harry and William reunite for Princess Di's 60th birthday. Hope you can join me for the latest from 7 News tonight at 11.
I have never seen that before.
This phone belonged to Susan McAllister.
Justin Morgan,
you're under arrest.
We've both seen what he's capable of.
All it takes is a seed of doubt.
He's been violent and unpredictable.
Hey! You want me to call the police? Is that what you want?
You're right about Justin.
I'm being set up.
She's about to discover the truth. Home and Away, next up on 7.
This is Australia. This is Australia.
Colorbond, made by Australia.
The Nick Scali half-yearly clearance has been extended. Hurry to save on quality furniture for your entire home. The Nick Scali half-yearly clearance, extended and must end Sunday.
The Good Guys Big Deal Days are on now. Get 37% off this Linsar 65-inch TV, $83 off this Bosch dishwasher, this Breville coffee machine only $829, plus this Dyson vacuum only $777. Big Deal Days, only at The Good Guys.
Got a bit of late-night Euros fever? Try Sportsbet's same-game multi. With more markets, more offers and bigger odds. Make it a same-game multi this Euros with Sportsbet.
Light and Easy's Jumpstart Plus combines their award-winning healthy meal delivery service with their new app to help you achieve your weight loss goals sooner.
With Light and Easy, I've lost 20 kilos in the last 5 months and Hayley's lost 8 kilos.
There was just so much variety that it just made it easy.
Fast track your weight loss success with Light and Easy's Jumpstart Plus.
Because of Light and Easy, and especially the Jumpstart program, I've lost so much weight now that it's just a lot easier at work. I'm not sore when I get home and everything's just better.
Jump online today.
Get delivery like a G. See, hungry dog gotta eat. I get mines every day, every week. Chicken wings to the crib. I'm sitting in MENULOG.
Maybe we could find ways to call time out on our kids' busy routines before they get sick. But if they do, Children's Panadol can start to reduce fever in just 15 minutes. Together, let's rethink care.
It's the classic T's and C's mumble read. We all do it. We start off strong with good intentions and then we run out of steam. That's why Bankwest have introduced visual T's and C's. A bank making T's and C's easier to understand? Well, no one saw that coming. To see for yourself, search Bankwest Visual T's and C's. Bankwest, bank less.
G'day, it's Bob here. But it's one thing I love most, it's a long, steamy shower. Yeah!
Call the fire department.
Clean body, clean mind.
Turn it off, Bob. We all love a nice soak, but there's no need to turn your shower into a sauna.
This weather report is brought to you by the BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe.
Tonight's 7 News headlines. A Baulkham Hills nursing home is in lockdown tonight after a worker there tested positive. Almost all residents are fully vaccinated. New vaccination hubs in the city and Macquarie Fields will see shots of the Pfizer vaccine double. And near misses have been captured on dash cam, a speeding driver going the wrong way on the M1 after missing a turn-off. Now, the latest on our weather, here's Angie.
Thank you, Mark. We might see a light shower or two tonight, but from tomorrow we enter a much more settled period, even some long sunny breaks in the days ahead. Today, the city's low is 10.9 degrees, a top of 17.7 and no showers so far in the CBD. There were only a few light passing showers around Sydney's northwest today. Otherwise, it was fine, very cloudy. Overnight lows in double digits thanks to that cloud, and tops hovered around 17 or 18 degrees. On the satellite, you'll see those onshore winds driving continued wet weather onto the coast. There's also a developing trough over northwestern New South Wales and lots of cloud cover as a result. Tomorrow, those winds will feed into the trough, causing wet weather to ramp up. Falls are likely to be heaviest in the state's northeast again. Brisbane will be impacted by that system with rain at times, mild temperatures 21 degrees for a maximum. Canberra, Melbourne and Adelaide all likely to record more showers, while Hobart will see a cloudy day, Perth and Darwin staying nice and settled. For New South Wales, the focus of the wet weather shifts to the northeast, so 15 millimetres around Byron Bay, 10 at Lismore, 5 for Coffs Harbour. That's on top of falls in that region up to 50 millimetres already. Elsewhere, some wet weather, but only a few millimetres likely. Back in Sydney, another morning fog tomorrow, but this time only for our western suburbs, fine and partly cloudy in the east. Quite nice tops, 19 degrees on the beaches, 20 for Hornsby and getting up to 21 at Penrith. On the water, winds will tend northwesterly at first, reaching 20 knots, then turning northerly in the late afternoon. Again, big swell, 2.5 metres with warnings in place for most of our beaches. Back in Sydney, tomorrow will be partly cloudy. We're looking at a low of 11 degrees in the CBD, a top of 19 with light winds. Now, the week ahead starts to get a little bit chilly. Saturday, no significant change. That's looking good. Fine with a temperature range of 9 to 19 in the city, 6 to 20 in our west. Sunday will bring a lot of sunshine, but it's also going to be a lot colder. Same story on Monday with lows around 7 degrees in the city, 4 in our west, and tops not making it past 17 degrees. Then it gets much cooler in our western suburbs from there on in, dipping to 3 degrees overnight, and that lasts pretty well from Tuesday right through to the end of the outlook period, and that is in part due to clear skies seeing us all the way through. But despite the cool change, sunshine should be pretty welcome at this stage, I think, Mark.
Yeah, bring on those blue skies, Angie.
So.
Thank you. That is 7 News for this Thursday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.